Oromo Liberation Army has issued a statement. Jilmar Okum Sadereva gave an interview 24 hours ago. All that is happening after reports came out that Oromo Liberation Army and Fano had reached a deal. So what is the latest? Have they reached a deal? Why is OLA calling a Fano group terrorist entity? What happened? Secondly, Somalia is not happy with Ethiopia. Ethiopian ambassador to Somalia was summoned by Somalia's foreign ministry. Reportedly, a protest was registered by Somalia's government with the new Ethiopian ambassador. What happened there? Let's start with the new story about Ethiopia-Somalia relations. Ethiopia-Somalia relations. Diplomatic relations were cut off last year when Ethiopia signed a controversial memorandum of understanding with Somaliland to gain access to sea through Somaliland in return for recognition of Somaliland as a country. Somalia expelled Ethiopian ambassador, withdrew its ambassador from Addis Ababa. The two countries came close to a war. Then Ethiopia backed off. Mediated by Turkey, some reconciliation happened. Diplomatic ties were restored. After the restoration of bilateral diplomatic ties, Ethiopia appointed Suleiman Dadefo as Ethiopian ambassador to Mogadishu. Suleiman is very critical of Egypt. He's been criticizing Somalia's federal government too in the past. Man is a hardcore critic of TPLF as well. So his tweets are his past tweets have been very critical of the TPLF. Suleiman Dadefo gave an interview. I think it's one of his first major interviews since his appointment in Mogadishu. I covered that interview in a video, and in that interview, Suleiman Dadefo talked about the Egyptian military entry in Somalia. Egypt is going to deploy its peacekeepers in Somalia. Around 1,000 will be deployed. They have completed initial training and they're going to arrive in Egypt very soon, in Somalia very soon. Suleiman Dadefo in an interview said that Ethiopia was not threatened by Egyptian military entry in Somalia, but Ethiopia is not comfortable with Egyptian military presence in Somalia. He said that Egyptian military entry in Somalia will pose political and security challenges for Ethiopian troops there in Somalia. Strong words, obviously, because Somalia wants Egypt to be part of peacekeeping mission in Somalia. That is why Suleiman Dadefo was summoned by Somalia's foreign ministry, where Somalia protested and asked Suleiman Dadefo to be careful in his speeches, in his interviews. Could Somalia declare Suleiman persona non grata? It has not happened so far, but Somalia is not happy with Suleiman Dadefo's remarks. Ethiopia definitely not comfortable with Egyptian military presence in Somalia. Overall, we can say that fight against Al-Shabaab will be affected because I am not seeing any major coordination between Ethiopian and Egyptian troops in the fight against Al-Shabaab. Let's see where in Somalia Egyptian troops will be deployed. Will they be deployed to to Somalia, Ethiopia border areas, to front lines, where we'll see in coming weeks. Secondly, because Oromo Liberation Army is denying contacts with Fano. I did a video a few days ago. A new source claimed that Oromo Liberation Army and Fano had reached a deal, and that Zabina Kasi and Komsa Dereba were in regular contact, that the two had agreed on putting an end to fight against each other, and the two had agreed on one point agenda, and that is removal of Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, from power. This is what was reported, and in that video I said no one was going to admit it, and this is what happened. Kumsa Dereba talked to a BBC journalist yesterday, and he said that did not have any contact with any Fano commanders. Even if he has contacts, he won't acknowledge that. In a related development, Oromo Liberation Army issued a very strong statement last night. OLA issued the statement against Wellega Fano. In Wellega, Amharas have been arming themselves. They have organized and armed themselves. They say that Amharas of Wellega had been victims of ethnic attacks, or that Amharas of Wellega are attacked by OLA, by security forces, etc. So they need to organize themselves. Fanos of the Amhara region supported the organizing of Amharas in Wellega. Amhara Wellega is Fano Wellega is a relatively newly formed entity. Oromo Liberation Army, in a statement last night, called Wellega Fano a terrorist organization sponsored by the government. OLA, in its statement, said that government actually backed the formation of Wellega Fano. Wellega Fano commanders are former government militia members, and these Wellega Fano members are involved in ethnic attacks. Government formed Wellega Fano to achieve two objectives. Two objectives include terrorizing of the Oromo people. Allegedly, this is what Ola is saying. Ola says that the government wants to terrorize Oromos by backing Wellega Fano's attacks on Oromos, so that terrorized Oromos would support Prosperity Party. Secondly, the Oromo Liberation Army claims that at this critical time, when some progress is being made for forming a joint front against the government, government wants to create inter ethnic divisions. It wants to create inter-communal violence between Oromos and Amharas. The government is backing Wellega Fano's attacks on Oromos. It wants Oromos and Amharas to fight so that no joint front against the government could be established. Question is, do Fano groups in Amhara disapprove Wellega Fano or not? I don't think so. I have not seen a statement from any Fano group from Amhara calling Wellega Fano as Prosperity Party backed Fano. It means that not all Fano groups in Wellega are backed by the government. It means this is a very complicated situation which we're seeing in Wellega. There are so many players operating there. Ola operating there. Local Amharas organize themselves, they're operating there. To Wellega Fano now. I think Wellega Fano and local Amhara organized people are two different entities. Government-backed militias are operating here. Ethiopian National Defense Force operating. Gachana Sirno. So many players operating here. Yes, the Ethiopian government, Oromo government, wants to pit Oromos against Amharas. The government, Prosperity Party backed government, backed restructuring of Somali region a few days ago, just to pit Oromos against Somalis, Somalis against Oromos. Government creates divisions, no doubt about that. And this is the strategy of the government that through creation of divisions, it will be able to rule smoothly. Otherwise, opposition will unite, and united opposition will pose a challenge to the people in power. But Ola's statement against Valega Fano is not going to be welcomed by any Fano group in Amhara region, firstly. Secondly, Komsa Dereba has denied contacts with Fano, but I don't think that Fano and Ola did not engage. They engaged. I mean, last year I mentioned in some videos that Ola and Fano had exchanged views in some engagements. It happened, but no one is going to admit. Thanks for watching.